Hello Pisces, thank you for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm going to use a deck I haven't used in quite a long time, so it's going to be kind of a roll with it moment. I think it said Thoth, but it might be Thoth. Thoth by Aleister Crowley, which is kind of, a lot of people know who that is, so it's a very strong deck. Let's see what happens with that. And the supportive cards, which it may seem like a strange connect, but I'm going to go with it. The Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's her last name. I'm just going to roll with it and see where we go with it. I don't know, because like part of me is kind of like, is this a good match? Like using these two decks together, is that my best idea? Seems like it's going to work. Let's find out. Because to me, they have very dramatically different styles, but we'll find out. Maybe not as dramatic as I think. Okay. So we got a hidden element here. Okay. Hidden element. One face down card. Okay. When we come into this situation, ooh, you got love. Is this the Two of Cups? This is the Two of Cups. Which is a very interesting way that that's portrayed. Like I said, I haven't used these cards in a while, but it's really feeling like you're tied together with someone. But it's not bad. It feels codependent. It does, especially with this impasse and abundance. It's almost like you can't really go forward without somebody. Like you need somebody. There's somebody you need. This is what this is talking about. Somebody you're very codependent with. Somebody like, I don't know how I could get up this hill if they didn't help me carry the load. Which I don't know how that sounds coming across, but that's the energy I'm getting. Somebody that you very much care for, though. This is a positive energy. It's kind of like a parent or somebody that you're very close to, and you're just like, you talk to them a couple times a day, and it's like if they weren't there, there'd be a very big opening. Like there'd be a very big problem. Like that'd be hard to fill that shoe. That's what we're starting with. Somebody who means a lot to you. There's a codependency connection here. I can't move on without them. I need them to help me. I depend on them to be there. That's the energy. That's the honest energy that's there, just to be fair. Now, that's the base of what this is stemming from. The Ace of Swords comes in. This is directly dealing with this person. Whoever this is, it's really very, very, very important to you. You probably talk to this person a couple times a day, at the very least a couple times a week. There's communication coming in. And when I'm getting this Ace of Swords, it's got this halo effect on the top, which makes me feel like there's some jarring news. There is some jarring news. I'm getting some very interesting feelings here. Like, there's a lot more to come. There's a lot to be deciphered. But this new day is coming in. And there's information about the new day that's about to arrive. It doesn't feel like it's here yet, but there's very powerful information in the sense of like it's kind of like saying, well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but the sun will rise, and you can tell that you can see the stars very clearly. I checked the weather. We're going to actually easily be able to see it. And that's kind of the way it's feeling. Like you don't doubt it. Like, okay, yeah, it's coming forward. But you're also kind of like, what comes with the dawning of this day? When everybody wakes up, what are we going to have to deal with then? And there's this weird feeling of dread coming in with it. Kind of like, is this going to go well, or is this not going to go well? It's the Ace of Swords. It is upright, but especially the way I read it, just because very powerful information is coming through, and that's what I feel with this card, very powerful, like it's going to happen, and you know it's going to happen. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's just saying there's a very bright signpost coming up ahead. It's saying you're going to deal with this, and like it or not, here it comes. That's one of those things. I feel like it directly has to deal with this person you're very codependent with. I feel like it's very centered on them, something they have to deal with, and I feel like this is making you nervous, like, okay, I understand we have to do this. I'm here for you. Let's step forward. And you're not sure at this point. I feel like at this point you're not really sure if it's really that bad or not. You're kind of like a little bit hesitant, like, oh, here it comes. But you're like, maybe it'll be better than I think. You're hopeful, a little bit hopeful. So here's where the face down card pops in. And Five of Wands. Face down, Five of Wands, strife. But Five of Wands is usually like conflict, arguments, which is strife. But I'm getting there's a lot of like conflicting energy here. Someone says go left, another person says go right. That's what I'm feeling. It's hard to decide who's right, who's wrong. It's more about the information going around the situation. The conflict is kind of like this one says this one says that. Then there's another one with a completely different viewpoint. It's like we can't go north, south, and west at the same time. I mean, we can't. We really can't. So, like, there's conflicting information. It's like someone says go north, someone says go south, someone says go west, and then another person pops in and says, well, you could always go south. You could always go straight up. You could always go straight up. And it's kind of like, yeah, I needed another option. Thanks. And in truth, it's like whatever you're looking for. It's like I need the best option. I just need to know what's going to work. Just tell me what's going to work at this point, and we'll do it. And there's a lot of conflict and controversy about what's coming toward you. It's very connected to this other person. The other person feels overwhelmed, and I almost feel like the other person you're dealing with, and it's definitely a person in this situation, is what I'm getting. It could be a situation because it's like I've been proven wrong before. It is a general read. So if it's a situation, let me know. Give me the example, if you will. You can just make it very simple. You don't have to go into detail. But if this is a situation, explain it to me because I'm feeling a person here. They're rejecting it. They're like saying, nobody knows what they're doing. They're telling me to go up, down, left, right, forward, backward. They're like, ugh, forget it. And that makes things even more stressful for you. Because you're kind of like, well, no, we need to do... We're like, I feel like you're standing there like, no, this is a problem, and we need to do something. Like, yes, the information is conflicting and contradictive, but we're going to have to, and I'll help you figure it out. Like, I feel like you want to help figure it out. Like, all right, we gotta choose something. We gotta do something. I'm getting this stress feel. Like, you might even be sitting there going, oh, my God, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know where to start, but we need to do something. It's kind of like we just can't sit here and hold this bowl of food. We got to do something with it. If you just stand here with this bowl of food, like, first of all, you're going to get tired of standing there. Second of all, it'll rot after a while. And what's the point of that? We got to do something with it. And there's stress here for you. This is a point where you're going to have to step forward and be like, all right, let's start going through the options. Or let me go through the options and see what I think, and I'll try to research it some more or something. Self-worth is on your side saying you're going to have to take control of this, and you might not want to, and it may make you uncomfortable because the other person, maybe that's what they usually do. So it makes you uncomfortable to step forward, at least in this situation, but I feel like it's time for you to do that. Now, there's a very interesting way that this is playing out. I don't think this is bad, but when you see it, it may depend on how you're feeling about it. I'm getting something about communication, definitely communication, and the way things have been said or are being said at this point. You do have trickery, yes, and you got the Ace of Cups, which I'm feeling there's a lot of things. It's a lot to do with communication. It's trying to get this other energy to work with you, and you kind of have to fluff their ego a little bit. You might have to be a little bit more highlight the good, play down the bad type feel. Because I feel like you got to get this moving forward. And I feel like this person, you care about them a lot, and it needs to move forward. It does. I mean, it is trickery. You have to decide what you think is right or wrong with that. I'm getting it's like play up the good, play down the bad to get things moving forward. And as the time comes forward and more starts to happen, the bad will have to be dealt with anyway. You can't really get around it. But like concentrating on the good might make the situation a little bit better at least. You know, and if you're concentrating on the good spot, like a little kid, like they concentrate on that lollipop, meanwhile they're getting the shot. You know what I mean? That type of feel. Because it's going to keep moving forward, and I get that. You got Magus coming forward, which is Magician. And I know in this deck there's 3 of these in the deck, so it's a very empowering deck. There's 3 different versions. But with this one, I'm getting it's like putting out there what you need, pulling things together. There's a lot of like using your own abilities, bringing forth what needs to happen so that it actually pulls things forward and actually connects things together correctly. There's a very like strength feel here. Like there's a lot of strength with this. It's like you got to be careful not to be pulled around by other people or manipulated by other people is what I'm getting. That is popping up right in the environment. It is going to move forward, but I don't think this is just you and whoever you're dealing with. There's other people playing into this very much. And you got to be careful not to be pulled along by other people's agendas. Like, do they just want to get you out of their way? Do they have something else they want to happen here and they're trying to skew it so that they get what they want? Just keep an eye open. That's all I'm saying. Just keep an eye open. Because growth is going to happen here. And they're going to persevere. Perseverance. Like, whatever the problem is, this Ace of Swords coming forward, it happened, dealing with the information, sorting it out, the other person being like, oh, they tell me go every way but right. I don't know what to say. So you helping them figure that out. Just be careful when it finally moves forward that whoever you're using as a reference or whoever's aiding you in getting this to move forward, that they don't have their own agenda and something that they want. Or if they do, at least know what it is and be sure that you're okay with it, at the very least. The way this is ending here in the end, it's very weird to me. I think it's good, but something is being stifled. I'm seeing in the environment peace, which is the Two of Swords, and that goes different in different decks. In this one, it does say peace on it, but like with those weird little paper-like images, I'm kind of feeling like this windmill feel. Like things are kind of like going forward. They're looking like they're moving more than they actually are. It's kind of like the paper windmills. Like they don't produce electricity. Like the paper ones, the child's paper windmills. You know what I'm saying? Like the little spinny things. I don't know if it's probably a better word for them, but it's like the piece, especially when they have these weird little ones at the top and bottom. I feel like there's someone abstaining from causing issue to you. That's what I'm getting with this card. They're abstaining from causing issue. So technically it's peace. I can give you that. Peace kind of works, and that's the word at the bottom, which they kind of, I don't know if you can read it, but there it is. The situation is like, it's kind of holding together. It says oppression. I get instinct is also coming with it. It's kind of like you're keeping this moving forward. There might be kind of like an oppressive feel with it, like pushing it forward, forcing it forward. It's almost like making doctor's appointments for somebody, and like you're like, and you just keep telling them, well, I'm going to be here. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're ready. You're not literally oppressing them, but you're pushing it forward. You're keeping it going forward. You know what I mean? I don't know. You're holding to your word. It's not really oppressive. I just feel like the other person just feels like if they try to back out or push out of it, it's going to cause a big hubbub, and they don't want a big hubbub, so they almost feel forced to keep going forward. I actually feel in this situation they should keep going forward, so take it with a grain of salt. I don't have to tell you about that. You have the Knight of Wands, passion, and facade. You know that this person doesn't like this. You know that they don't want to do it. I almost feel like it's like, you're picking, like, I feel like it's like picking up my grandmother and saying, all right, you got to go to the doctor tomorrow at 10. I'll be there at like 9:15 because it's not that far from your house, and then we can just go. She'd be like, oh, okay. She doesn't really want to do it, but I'm not acknowledging it. That would be the facade. I wouldn't acknowledge it because you don't want to open that door, because you open that door, she talks about it, she's like, well, I'm not going to go. Like, you're giving her a chance to say, I'm not going to go. So it's like you're putting in this facade. Your facade is not acknowledging that the other side doesn't want to really do it. They're just kind of going along with it because they said they would. They just don't want to cause an issue. The facade on your side with the passion and Knight of Wands is kind of like you're moving forward. You're pushing it forward. You're just not acknowledging the negative, that they don't want to really do it. I know that there's something here with the oppression, because I feel like this is something that really needs to happen. And it's kind of like they don't really want to. But I do feel like it's creating like this tapestry that it's going to help them, So it's something that needs to happen. Your kind of instinct, I feel like, is more connected to you, but like maybe them too. Like it's best to just keep moving. It's best to really try. I don't feel it being like a really big problem here, but it's like that they don't want to do this, but you can't really acknowledge it is what I'm getting. You just got to try to play up the good. Again, you have to keep playing up the good. Like I remember going to the doctors when I was a kid. My mom would take us to like a little place to eat afterwards, and have a little fun meal. You know what I mean? That would be kind of like the focus on the good. Like we'd have to go to the doctors, which we didn't want to, but afterwards we get to go and have a little fun meal, especially because you didn't go to doctors too often, maybe once, twice a year, if I remember right, I'm thinking. But But still, just to like calm that down, focus on the positive. That's what I kind of feel. Not talking about like you're gonna have to have a shot. Like not saying that. Like my mom never brought that forward. Like oh, they're probably gonna shoot you. Never said that. You know what I mean? Just kind of focusing like yeah. And what do you want after? And where do you want to go after? You want to go to Wendy's? We can go to Wendy's. That's fine. Because that's what I feel this energy at the end is like focusing on the positive, just kind of letting the negative just be what it is. Because you already know what it is. No need to highlight it. No need to highlight it or make it any more stressful for anybody. All right, I think we're good. I'm gonna shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.